Hello everybody, and thank you very much for joining me on this Fallout Friday. And why am I calling it Fallout Friday? Well, some of you I'm sure may have guessed already, as you can see by our Vault Boy who is going to preside over tonight's presentation. But for Easter, I actually purchased this guy for my brother. He is a huge Fallout fan. I watched him play many hours of the various different Fallout games on console and PC, and it is highly entertaining, to say the least, to watch. I myself have never played a Fallout game, but I've played other games in the genre. Anyway, this was really cool, and this caught my eye. I actually got it at Best Buy. Funny enough, I went there, I think it was like on a Saturday, and I saw this. There were two of them. And I was like, man, I don't know. And I left. I didn't buy it. And that whole night, I kept thinking about it. So anyway, the next day I went, and sure enough, they were still there. So I picked up one of these guys. I figured we'll go ahead and do a review. Now, it is called, obviously, it's by Magic: The Gathering, Universes Beyond. What doesn't Magic do? Scrappy Survivors. Now, I gifted this to my brother on Easter Sunday. He did open it. So I said, hey, after you open it, I'm going to go ahead and do a video on it. He was like, oh, yeah, definitely. So that's what we're going to do today. Scrappy Survivors. You can see on the front there, it has this really cool, actually, I thought that was a card. It is not, and I'll show you in just a moment. But yes, Dog Meat. I know Dog Meat very well. I've seen him at my brother's side in the game many times. Ever loyal, legendary creature, dog. We'll get into that in a little bit. On the back, let's see, it says, Fallout War Never Changes. Battle your fellow Wastelanders for survival as the Fallout series joins with Magic's most popular multiplayer format. As your loyal sidekick, Dogmeat scrouges through your deck for helpful auras and handy equipment to suit up your survivors. Cast cards from exile with junk tokens and craft yourself a tail-wagging victory. Who's a good boy? Dogmeat, ever loyal. Dogmeat is every survivor's best friend. He'll sniff out rare loot, track down dangerous enemies, fetch useful items, and protect his allies in battle. All he asks for in return is food, pets, and a place to play with his favorite teddy bear. Contains a 100-card deck with 38 new cards, the deck box, 10 double-sided token cards, foil-etched display commander, a life wheel, strategy insert, and reference card. I do not know how to play this game, but assuming it plays by the standard Magic: The Gathering rule set, I'm sure those who are fans of said set are very familiar with it. So, inside of the box, open up here. Basically, you've got this little cardboard piece, and you fold it out. It kind of creates like a little stand. I'll see if I can take it out here. There we go. All right. So inside the box, you've got this. Man, it's very easy to put together, but it serves kind of like as a shield, I suppose, for somebody on one side, somebody on the other side, I suppose, playing. Yeah, let me know in the comments if there's a reason that you guys can think of as to why this box would be implemented. But, so we've got the box here. And then we have, it's like a bonus pack. Universes Beyond, or perhaps it's a booster? Yeah, Collector Booster Sample Pack is enclosed. Sealed product, not for resale. Yeah, I'm just curious if it gives any odds. Contains 3 cards. Okay. Yeah, no. So on the regular boosters, I would assume it would provide some odd information, but I really don't know. Truth be told, until we get some. And then inside of the box, also a little box that you could put together. Kind of set that there. So you can see good old Dogmeat, man's best friend in the wasteland for sure. I've seen him, man, go at They call them super mutants, these huge mutant guys. Those who know Fallout know what I'm talking about, obviously. And yeah, no fear at all to life and or limb. So there's a box you can put together. Has dog meat on the front. Fallout name. Little side, I guess different symbols representing. I'm not exactly sure what it is in this game. We'll find out. All right, what does that say? Yeah, the Sanctuary Hills. That's a place. Don't know if it's Fallout 3 or was it New Vegas? I honestly cannot remember. My brother could tell you right away. So yeah, after I gifted this to him, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I asked if I could make a video of it, and he let me borrow this for the review. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so we've got a turn card. Learn to play Magic. So you can scan that if you want to learn to play Magic the Gathering, discover the coolest cards, etc., etc. And then we have the booklet. Actually, it's more like a little fold-out, kind of like a pamphlet deal. This guy here, let's see, maybe it has a poster in there, I don't know. Ooh. I do love me some poster art. All right. So yeah, it folds out like that. Good dog meat. Dog meat ever loyal. We read that actually on the back of the box. And Preston Garvey, Minuteman. Talks a little bit about Preston Garvey. Preston Garvey is one of the last surviving members of the Commonwealth Minutemen. As a volunteer defense militia, Preston and his fellow soldiers unite to defend their neighborhoods from monsters and raiders alike, relying only on the scavenged weapons and their collective bravery. He idolized the Minutemen ever since he was a small boy and dreamed of one day making a difference. However, after the betrayal of the Minutemen's former leader, subsequent Quincy massacre, and loss of civilians to the feral ghouls of Lexington, Preston lost his will to soldier on. He made his final stand in Concord. Staring down the barrel of his laser rifle against a small army of raiders, it was hopeless. Until the sole survivor appeared, in mere moments saving Preston and his remaining group. With a renewed spirit and a new friend, Preston took hold of the Minutemen as their leader and embarked on a quest to reclaim settlements across the wasteland. Thanks to his efforts, people have a safe place to call home. Why are Dogmeat and Preston Garvey red, green, and white aligned? Dogmeat embodies red, green, and white through his unwavering loyalty, love, and fierce protection. Preston's heroic commitment to justice and the defense of his community also places him in this alignment. Okay, so that's what the colors represent. The magic colors in the world of MTG. A card's color reflects the beliefs and ideologies of that spell. Here's a brief look at which each color stands for, at least in this particular game. White, order, cooperation, protection. Blue, knowledge, control, perfection. Black, power, death, ambition. Red, emotion, chaos, rebellion. And green, nature, instinct, and community. Playing the deck, commander rules. Little Sanctuary Hill. So I'm not going to go over the rules. I'm not going to bore you guys with those details. Playing the deck. Anybody who knows Magic the Gathering will have a general idea, I'm sure, if not an exact idea, of what need be done to play. So, without further ado, we'll look at some of these cards, look at some of the artwork, and I will show you these little guys here. So, let's see, these are, I'm not exactly sure what use they have in the game, but they do serve some kind of a function. And there's a spinner wheel card here. And I'm sure that's to keep, I don't know if it keeps check of rads. I know that's a thing in the Fallout universe. You know, you got to keep the rad count in check, otherwise you get overly irradiated, and that's not good for anybody. So, yeah, little dog meat spinner wheel tracker right there. And I'm hoping the artwork on these cards, because I saw a couple of them, and it looked pretty killer. So that first card that we saw on this guy right here, this is the actual card. Now, I put it in a protector sleeve when I first saw it, when my brother picked it out. It's a thicker card than a standard card. And yeah, when Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. Legendary creature looks like M, so I'm assuming that's a mythic rare. You guys let me know. I'm not 100% sure. I see the little star down there. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've looked at Magic cards. And this is, I guess one would say, the non-card stock version of the same exact card. M0002 also has that little star, Pip, like the Pip Boy. You wear that around your arm. It gives you all kinds of intel. And it has the star as well. Kieran Yanner. I'm assuming that's the artist. But the artwork is absolutely beautiful. I do love that artwork. And I'll go ahead and set you a little home there, Dogmeat, for everybody to watch and enjoy. And I do recognize this guy. So Codsworth, the Handy Helper. Legendary artifact creature, robot. Commanders you control have ward. Add 2 little asterisks. Don't know exactly what that is. Spend this, oh mana it must be, I'm assuming. Spend this mana only to cast aura and or equipment spells. Attach target aura or equipment you control to target creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Proud to serve. I can't remember exactly what he sounds like, but I seem to recall Codsworth having somewhat of an accent akin to that, but it's been a few years and I just don't remember. So then we've got Three Dog Galaxy, News DJ, Legendary Creature, Human Bard. I'm just going to share the artwork on some of these. That's a rare. And then we have Moira Brown, Guide Author, Legendary Creature, Human Citizen. Also a rare. Then we have Cass, Hand of Vengeance, Legendary Creature, Human Ranger. Vigilance card, rare. Standard Magic the Gathering. Back for anybody who may have been curious. Then Kate, the Cage Brawler, Legendary Creature, Human Warrior. As long as it's your turn, Kate, Cage Brawler, has Indestructible. That sounds pretty handy. And then we have Veronica, Dissident Scribe, rare Legendary Creature, Human Artificer Rogue. The Duchess, Wayward Tavern Keep, Legendary Creature, Human Citizen. When looking at these for the first time, every time busting out one of these cards, my brother's like, oh yeah, this person's from this person's from that. I mean, he knows this like the back of his hand. Ian the Reckless, Legendary Creature, Human Warrior. I may not be a very good fighter anymore, but I'm good enough to best the likes of you. I used to have trench knife knuckles like that way back when. That's a whole nother story. Let's see. Rancor. Enchantment Aura. Rancorous. Okay, wait a minute. Rancorous Ruth. That might be that fine young lady right there holding a rolling pin, I believe. Rancorous Ruth, Malefic Maud, and Irate Ida formed the core of Maud's Muggers, Freeside's most terrifying villains. Boy, they're the most terrifying villains. You best watch out. Uncommon. That's pretty funny. Commander Sophia de Guerre. Legendary Creature, Human Pilot. Agility bobblehead. You remember the bobbleheads? You find those in the game. Some of them are really, really tricky to find. Perception bobblehead. These are uncommon. Treasure card. And you notice on the treasure card, they're bottle caps. For those who don't know, in the world of Fallout, bottle caps are currency. They do not use standard money. Copy. This token can be used to represent a copy of something else. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm assuming that can come in handy. Then we've got a squirrel. This is a squirrel, evidently. After the Fallout radiation got a hold of them, squirrels, I can imagine what mischief those squirrels get themselves into. Wasteland Survival Guide. Don't travel the wasteland without one. Food. Nuka-Cola. Human Soldier. Another treasure card. Another squirrel card. Let's see, these are backwards. All right, now we've got a Nuke launcher, which my brother was telling me they changed the name of that. It used to be named something else. I can't remember what the actual name was. It's a rare card. For anybody out there watching who happens to remember the name of the launcher, it would actually launch these mini nukes, if you can imagine. And when the nukes landed, it created a miniature nuclear explosion. Those at Ground Zero were not happy campers if they were left around at all. And then we've got the Rootbound Crag. Mutant strangler vines carried the town of Tanagra up into the treetops where it remains to this day. I do like that kind of story element. There's Preston Garvey. That's the gentleman we spoke about earlier in the beginning. Minuteman, Legendary Creatures, Human Soldier. I mean, that's pretty cool artwork there. What kind of card is that? It's a Mythic? Yeah, Mythic. Mythic Rare. We've got Brotherhood Outcast. Acquired Mutation. The radiation of the wasteland has changed you. Yeah, and there's all kinds of really crazy, quirky, sometimes disturbing, and sometimes very entertaining and comedic types of mutations that take place in the world of Fallout. Crimson Caravaneer. By the way, speaking of Fallout, if anybody has not watched the Fallout series, I would highly recommend it. Even if you are not familiar with the game, it is extremely entertaining. I found it so. And yeah, it has some really good acting in there. And we've got Bighorner Rancher creature, Human Rancher. Yeah, some of the animals that exist, the livestock and whatnot. You'll have double-headed cattle and such. Breakdown. Old human junk. Worst kind of human junk. Looks like a mutant. One of those mutant guys. They're really big, bad, and ugly. Gunner Conscript creature. Human mercenary. I love the artwork on these cards. Super Mutant Scavenger. Yeah, these mutants are so big, they'll wheel around whole literal like garbage bins. The big old garbage bins that you see outside of businesses and whatnot. And yeah, this guy is pulling one by the chain. And oftentimes the garbage is loaded with sometimes gear, sometimes trinkets, but other times, let's just say unsavory proteins from less than stellar sources that you wouldn't find in a grocery store, nor would you want to. We'll leave it at that. Out in the wastelands, everything's a steal. Well rested, enchantment aura card. When you're a deep sleeper, any bed will do. Silver Shroud costume. All that glitters, enchantment aura. All that glitters, or not bottle caps. The lucky 38. Sooner or later, the house always wins. Don't get carried away, folks. Whether it's bottle caps or trading cards, know when to say when. Path to exile, instant. In the end, he marched into the desert sands, leaving the vault behind him. Interesting. Then we've got valorous stance. I had to put on a brave face as long as there were still people counting on me. Gives me an odd Paul Revere vibe for some reason. Sticky fingers. Enchantment aura. Yeah, that's one of the elements in the Fallout game, of course. If you have a, well, let's say somebody that you had to handle business with, some entity, it would definitely be prudent out in the wasteland to, see if there's anything of use that maybe would help you along the way down the road. Abundant growth, enchantment aura. Looks like Palm Springs, Florida. Fertile ground. That's cool. And it is definitely unfertile ground. You're not going to grow anything in that. Fertile does not always mean safe. There we go, folks. It's fertile for something, but it's not necessarily anything good. Squirrel nest. Yeah, you can imagine a swarm of those on a nice picnic day, running down the trees to, see what you got in the picnic basket. In the wasteland, the rad squirrels have their eyes out for you. And chances are it's nothing in the basket that they're going to want. You're probably first on the menu. Wild growth, enchantment aura card. Our researchers noted a sense of euphoria and claimed to hear incomprehensible voices. Extreme measures will need to be taken to cull this organism. Strangler Vine research notes. I love the fantasy lore. I'm a lover of stories, all kinds of stories. Behemoth Sledge, artifact equipment, a popular weapon with the muscular crowd. Yeah, that thing can do some severe damage. That made a showing, if it wasn't the same weapon, it was almost identical in the actual show. Arcane Signet, something to love, honor, and cherish, and a reminder of someone who once did that for you. Brass knuckles. Good old trusty brass knuckles. When you gotta fall back, you can always fall back on brass knuckles. Explorer's scope, artifact equipment. Interesting choice of weaponry. The Fire Shrieker. I hesitate to know why they called it that, but one can only assume. The Flamer is a specially engineered flamethrower suited for extended combat engagements. It delivers sustained energy damage and can completely immolate a target. I can only imagine. Nobody wants to be on the receiving end of that. Soul Ring artifact. The Beveragiers were pleased by Project Cobalt. Not only did they discover new weaponizable isotopes, but a tasty beverage additive to boot. Interesting, interesting. Some kind of research, alchemy, I'm not exactly sure what was going on there, involving a beverage. Idolized. Enchantment aura. Renowned for your extensive support and goodwill, you were idolized by the community. Can be a blessing and a curse. Pre-war formal wear. So I guess that's what you... Oh, I see, yeah. You can get a hold of some pre-war formal wear occasionally. You know, there were some areas that survived the destruction of the war. And yeah, so you can have, like we had in the recent Celebration Topps 2026 opening, game day drip. You might find some game day drip, man. And yeah, you can look like a king. Vault 101 birthday party. Yeah, so in the vaults, you know, they celebrated. Oh, you can see even down at the bottom, there's a rad roach trying to get in on the action. He wants some of that cake. But they celebrated in the vaults. It's a whole story there. Grim Reaper's Sprint. Interesting. Junk Jet. Yeah, I can imagine somebody's just having a blast watching whatever's on the other side just dropping like flies. Although some things in the world of Fallout take a heck of a lot of hits. Megaton's Fate. Do the right thing or the wrong thing. Megaton. Not 100% sure what the Megaton is. Another vault card, Vault 21, House Gambit. Jack of Spades and an Ace of Spades. Reveal up to 5 non-land cards from your hand for each of those cards. That has the same mana value as another card revealed this way. Create a treasure token. Enchantment Saga. Animal Friend. Does not look like an animal friend, but I suppose the one in the background is the friend of the squirrel who's about to make this guy very unhappy. Or maybe it's a rat, I'm not sure. I scratch their back, they scratch you. Might be a rad rat. Strong back. Yeah, it's a heck of a strong back, walking around like that. Almost perfect. An incomplete suit of power armor is still a suit of power armor. I suppose, you know, yeah, especially out in Wasteland, you collect the pieces, eventually you have the whole set, then you need the power bank to go with it. Armory Paladin, creature human knight. Ad Victoriam! Inventory management. What will I use today? Constant danger requires constant preparedness. There's a lot of different weaponry with which to choose in the game of Fallout. Mr. Gutsy. Artifact creature, robot soldier. Gosh, I love the art. All these Magic the Gathering cards. The artwork is just supreme. Pit-Boy 3000. Every vault dweller's best friend. Junktown. I know that's one of the places you go in one of the games. It's not much, but it's home. Sun-scorched divide. To the divide they came, in the divide they rest. Ulysses. Mantle of the Ancients. Interesting, interesting. I mean, it looks like a regular Vault Dweller's outfit. I don't know exactly what that is, the whole thing. Pure Steel Paladin. I wear the armor, I am the weapon. Yeah, those armors are not to be trifled with. Single combat. Some fight to destroy their enemies, some fight to destroy themselves. Blasphemous act. Everyone knew the bombs were coming, everyone but the public. It only takes the misdeeds and vile sins of the few to punish and cause suffering to the many. Chaos warp. No one knew what the Zetans wanted, but whatever it was, it involved cattle. And here's an example of a two-headed cow. Yeah, they're all over. All over the place in the world of Fallout. Heroic intervention. Another beautiful day in the most dangerous place in the world, Nick Valentine. Nick Valentine, I remember that guy. He, I believe, was a synth, like a synthetic type of individual, android almost. And the populace, for the most part, had great disdain and distrust towards synths. And yeah, he played, I think it was almost like a detective type, like a Dick Tracy kind of character. Basilisk collar, a mark of companionship, not subservience. By looks, one would say, I'm not so sure about that, but I guess you can never be too safe, you know, I suppose, in a wasteland. Dog meat, you don't have to worry about dog meat, though, as long as you're on his side. A blood-forged battle axe, with just this trusty axe, Grognak became king. Grognak, I'm guessing he was one of the big mutant guys. I really don't know. Champion's helm. Sea diver's helmet. But, you know, you find that out in the wastes, and I suppose that could come in really handy. Masterwork of ingenuity. It's not a perfect replica, but your skull won't know the difference. I mean, it's got a point. Canopy Vista, lands. Now we have some land cards here. Before the war, people came here to enjoy the view. Now the only visitors are the birds who call harshly from the twisted trees. Reminds me of that sign from Back to the Future. The billboard where the DeLorean first arrived in 1955, I believe. Cinder Glade, with the scorched below and toxic smog above, few survived. Fisher Site Omega. You can see that in the background. It looks like some winged beasts of some kind. And like I said in the game, yeah, I mean, you can come across some really nasty stuff. Clifftop Retreat. Nice. From up here, you could almost imagine how it was before, from a wasteland survivor. Exotic Orchard. Orwell Orchards is about as peaceful and pleasant as a tomb can get. Some seeking refuge in what were once lively homesteads. Mossfire Valley. I come from a place far to the northwest. It's called the Pit. It's, well, let's be honest, a nightmare. Werner. Is that Pittsburgh? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's saying... Yeah, if it is, shout out to Axe Collections. And then we've got a root-bound crag. I think we looked at that earlier. Yep, looked at that earlier. Scattered groves. This one, awaiting harvest around the Groves family cabin are plump pumpkins, hardy carrots, juicy mutfruit, and ravenous scorch beasts among the scattered groves. Scavenger grounds. The only things you need out in the wastes are food, water, and bullets. Everything else is details. At the general store. Good Pines? Good Prime? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, general store. Sheltered Thicket. This is a great spot. Traders run close enough for easy pickings, but not so close that we end up skinned. Silly's log. Gosh, that artwork. It almost looks like an Italian, has an Italian flair to that particular piece. Let's see here. Sungrass Prairie. Sometimes just for a moment, the wind is moving gently through the trees. The Brahmin are grazing beneath a blue sky, and everything is at peace. The Brahmin are the double-headed cattle. Sun Petal Grove. Probably should have made this into 2 videos, guys, but we're almost through. And yeah, let's see. Must have been something to see. Must have been something to see a movie on a screen that big. Preston Garvey. Back in the drive-ins. Yeah, and you'll notice that a lot of the cars in the Fallout universe, before the stuff went down, it has kind of like a, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's very strong 50s influence, kind of, you know, the nuclear age. It's a spin on the nuclear age during the 60s, 50s, 60s. Temple of Abandon. That scene with the dinosaur, this actually is a scene in the movie. And it also reminds me, for whatever reason, when I first saw this, I don't know anybody who remembers Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but it had that big old dinosaur, I do believe, a T-Rex in the background. And yeah, I just remember Pee-wee being chased by some guy who wasn't happy because I think Pee-wee was friends with his girlfriend or something. I don't know. It's been a long time. You can't just travel through without stopping to see Dinky and the world's second largest thermometer. I mean, that's pretty cool. Temple of Plenty. It almost looks like a Gumby inflatable. I'm guessing it's, you know, one of those things that you inflate, and it's like, come buy my cars. Pre-owned, pre-rusted, pre-irradiated. Can't go wrong, I'm sure, buying a used car there. Temple of Triumph. All matches continue until one side is dead. No exceptions. There's a lot of different factions in Fallout, which you'll see playing the game or watching the show. Swiftfoot boots. I don't need brakes. I usually find that if something stops me. It's interesting enough to stop for. The Ash Barrens. War has survivors, but rarely has winners. There's a lot of truth to that statement. Buried Ruin. Looks like a ghoul, perhaps, in the background. Venture into the abandoned subway and you'll get more than your ticket punched. Yeah, I know many times my brother would go down into like the subways in the game, and there'd be all kinds of ghoulish creatures that would come running at him and blow him away with his wide arsenal of weaponry. Command Tower. New Vegas is more than a city. It's the remedy to mankind's derailment. Mr. House. Yeah, Mr. House shows up in the movie, or the TV show. Evolving Wilds. That's a beautiful card. Gosh, the artwork is so great. One day, maybe, kids will play here again. Preston Garvey. That's a gorgeous card. Jungle Shrine with the Sanctuary Hills sign. Once the houses of tomorrow, now the tombs of today. I love the quotes. They're awesome. Path of Ancestry. Your mother would have been so proud. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That looks like it's in a vault. And, you know, vaults, babies essentially wake up in a vault. All they know is the vault, and what they're told happened. What they're told are their ancestors. Roadside reliquary. You'd be surprised what people leave behind on the old roads. Got to keep your eyes peeled for the good stuff. It's kind of like going to a flea market, but nobody's there except what was left behind. Rogue's Passage. The Railroad is an organization dedicated to freeing synths which I mentioned earlier, from the influence of the Institute. Their headquarters is a secret location found by following the Freedom Trail. Temple of the False God. Assuming fanatics. Pain clears the mind of evil thoughts and allows them to better comprehend the glory of the Master, Father Lasher. No idea, but I do know that different factions, you've got fanatics, and most of the factions have some grievous fault associated with them, and as a player you have to decide yay or nay what path to choose. Terramorphic Expanse. A new civilization was built bit by bit from the scrap of the old one. A form of recycling, if you will. And we've got a mountain card. This looks like one of the double cards, double-sided cards. Basic land mountain. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it is a different looking card. Man and his trusty companion. Boy, if that dog was used as a steed, he'd be one unhappy dog. Mountain. Basic land mountain. Okay. I don't know why they look different, these little land cards. Mountain again. Another mountain. And we have forest. Gosh, that's beautiful. Artwork is so pretty. We have a different forest. Let's see, forest, plains. Plains. Another plains. And I do believe that is all of the cards. So you get these little tokens in here, little play tokens like markers. And of course you get the instructions for playing. But essentially that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Long video, but full, I suppose, review of what you can expect to see inside of the Fallout Universes Beyond cards. Now, I am a bit curious because supposedly it did say that there were double-sided cards in this deck. So I'm just blowing through to see if I find any double-sided cards. I did not come across... Ah, okay. So, here they are. Okay. Well, they're cards that we saw earlier. It's just there are two, I'll show one. So, this one is a radiation card, which, funny enough, I did not think I showed that one earlier. But on the other side is the copy card. So, these are tokens. Anyhow, let me know what you guys think. Is this a set that you would be into? Is this a game version of Magic the Gathering that you would be interested in playing? Have you played it? Do you know about Fallout? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate it very, very much. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. So does Dog Meat. He is ever loyal to each and every one of you. And with that being said, thank you so much for your support, and see you next time.